the Egg McMuffin. One of my favorite meals if I go to McDonald's. But if I got to be truly honest about it, it's really hard to eat this on a regular occasion here or regular, with regular consistency and maintain the goals that I want. Although it is the healthier alternative to probably a biscuit. It is the healthy alternative in terms of calorie counts compared to other menu items. But with that said, there's still a better way of making this. And in my, for me personally, I don't think a lot of these come with enough calories for me, to be quite honest. I almost need to double up on them when I make them at home in order to get a satiating meal out of them to get exactly what I'm looking for from a protein standpoint. So there are some complications with this here Egg McMuffin. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, or something like that. All right, guys, today I want to show you all just a quick recipe that I've learned over the years, and it's something that I enjoy getting from McDonald's myself. But while you can make it healthier, I wouldn't call it the most complete breakfast in the world if you're just running up to your local McDonald's and getting it. You're probably going to get a lot of unnecessary calories that you could cut back just by making this at home. So today, we're going to take the time and we're going to actually make a homemade Egg McMuffin. We're going to throw a little bit of Canadian bacon on there. We're going to throw a little bit of reduced fat cheese. You could even go with You could even go with a fat-free cheese if you go to Walmart. But we're just going to take the reduced calories on it and keep a little fat in there because I still think a little fat's good for your diet. All right. I already know you guys are going to cook me a little bit, right? Because the first thing you're going to say is, ain't no Egg McMuffin, Chief. You got yourself a sausage Egg McMuffin. I'll explain. So, long story short, guys, if you want to know why I went with the sausage and Egg McMuffin, well, I'm going to be making you an Egg McMuffin version of it. I can make this version as well, but I have Canadian bacon in my refrigerator. And on top of that, guys, to be quite honest, this is $2.50 by itself, but I get it for free most of the time because I can use the app and just order one off the app for free. To where if I were to go pay for a regular Egg McMuffin with the Canadian bacon, it's $3.99. And it's really very rarely actually free on the app. Sometimes you will get a $2.50 deal, so they'll sell it to you for the same price they're selling the sausage and Egg McMuffin. So just so that's out in the clear. My ingredients for making this are pretty simple, pretty straightforward, guys. First thing that you're going to need is your Thomas English muffins. You can go get these from pretty much any grocery store. Is going to more than likely carry this. I find these pretty much no matter where I'm at. And just so you can look at the nutrition facts, guys, for one serving, which is one muffin, so top, bottom, it's 150 calories, 1 gram of which is actually coming from fats. You're getting about 28 grams of carbohydrates with 1 gram of dietary fiber, and you're getting 5 grams of protein per serving. So one of these is giving you 5 grams of protein just in that alone. I will say, if I were looking to make an upgrade, if I was looking to make a change on this, if you were to flip your nutrition fact around in your grocery store and you found something with a similar calorie count, 150 for a single one, I would see if you couldn't find something that kicks up that dietary fiber to above 1 gram. Generally speaking, 3 to 5 grams of dietary fiber is pretty good. If you're looking for satiety, if you want to be satiated by your food, it's a pretty good marker to kind of shoot for. But I will say these are so small, I'm not surprised that they're a little low in fiber because you don't get as much surface area to get more fiber in it. What may be the hardest thing to find in your grocery market is going to be this Canadian bacon stuff. But you can use other things. I mean, you can basically use any form of ham that's been cut in a circular shape, or you could do it yourself, to be quite honest. I like these just because for each one of these, you're only getting 60 calories. And in that 60 calories includes 10 grams of protein. Your amount of protein compared to the calorie count there is that's incredible. 40 out of your 60 calories are coming from essentially protein, which that's a really good number. And you got 1.5 grams of fat. You got 1 gram of carbohydrate, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar in it. So, to me, that's a really good deal for this. Eggs, I don't know, guys. Maybe you prefer your eggs to be cage-free. Maybe you prefer them to be organic. Maybe you prefer them to be free-ranged, whatever. To be honest with you, it just depends upon what our bank account looks like. Sometimes it's free-range. Sometimes it's these here large white 18 egg count from Food Lion. I don't trip about that stuff too much, to be honest. Egg whites, because we want to shoot up the protein a little bit more. We'll make this somewhat of a high protein meal, so I'm going to add some egg whites in here. I normally shoot for about a serving of this, so you get 3 tablespoons or 46 grams. I always measure by the gram, guys. It's just more accurate in terms of like what you're putting in. And then for each serving, you're getting 5 grams of additional protein coming out of this here container. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our stuff and start cooking, basically. All right, so I'm going to come over here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put about 46 grams of this in here. So I'm going to zero out my scale real fast. All right, put my 46 grams in. Honestly, I'm going to probably double that up just, you know, because I'm making 2 of them. Be stupid to do this one at a time instead of just doing them both at the same time. So I'm going to do some quick math in my head. All right. Looking for 92, guys. And it'll probably fluctuate, but good enough for me. All right, so when it comes to greasing your pan, generally speaking, you got a few options in play here, right? You can use your standard like olive oil or avocado oil, things that are calorically pretty dense, but give you healthy fats. I mean, if you wanted to go that route, you're probably not going to absorb everything you put in there because you're just greasing your pan, but I still personally think it's worth it just to go get your 0 calories, even though these are probably not nearly as good for you as that is. I'm just, at the end of the day, guys, I'm trying to equate for calories on this. So I'm going with the cooking spray and extra virgin olive oil, 0 calories. Of course, this is going to have a somewhat lower smoke point, something people don't know about olive oil. It's not great for cooking everything, but for eggs, I'll be just fine. And this is a nonstick pan, so it's not even going to require that much to be put on there, to be quite honest. I get this is probably not a lot of eggs. And for me, honestly, when I normally have like a breakfast sandwich, I do normally have 2 to 3 eggs. You know, I can go up as high as 4 whole eggs, but it really just depends upon like how much of the egg whites I have, because I will kind of substitute in for some egg whites. I want the healthy fats from the yolk, but at the same time, like, you know, I'm going to be honest, both of these together, they're 400 calories per of these, and I'm going to eat 2 of them. So that's an 800 calorie breakfast, which is not a light breakfast, to be quite honest, but it's going to be pretty jam-packed in terms of the protein on it. It's going to be a decent protein count. All right, when we get to the cheese, we get to the tricky part, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I measure out my cheese every single time that I make something. I mean, I don't personally. You could definitely make an argument that if you're stalling in your weight gain, or, you know, if you're just not really recompositioning the way you thought you were going to, like, start paying attention to the condiments and the stuff like the cheese and how much you're actually putting in there. I'm going to do it for the purpose of this video. I just didn't want to lie and act like this is something I do all the time. I don't. It's 28 grams as a serving, guys, or a 1/4 cup. You can pretty much judge that. A 1/4 cup's going to be about a handful, guys, to be quite honest. So I'm just zeroing out my scale right now. All right, so I'm going to grab my cheese. And we're going to test out, we're going to test out that theory I just put forth, which is about a handful is a 1/4 of a cup. So we'll see how that comes up to 28 grams. All right, so that's as much as I pulled here. All right, let's take a look and see what it comes out to be. All right, so I'm at 10 grams there. 18 grams, so 19 grams. So it's not even quite even at the full thing. And to be honest with you, most of the time, so I'm not even in a full portion most of the time. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to increase this. Number one, because it's really per, if I want the actual count here, I need it per 1. So I need this to go up to really 56. So what I'll probably do is just throw some down there. Okay. I'm up to 50. Boom. 51. 56, guys, on the mark. So what I would say, what I noticed here with cheese is that a lot of people think that they're overdoing it, but I got to be honest. This is two servings of cheese you see here. Obviously, I split it up. It's one serving per actual thing, and mind you, it may not be 28 exactly in 28. It could be 24 and I don't know 62, whatever. You get what I'm saying, guys. But nonetheless, you get the point here. All right, the last area of serious conversation here is about condiments, guys. I mean, each one of these is going to be about 400 calories. Yes, guys, because this isn't necessarily equally split down the middle. One of them might be, I don't know, 600 calories. One of them might be 200 calories. Who knows, guys? I don't think it's quite that far in terms of the disparity, but you get my point here. Condiments. You can either go with a 0-calorie condiment like mustard or like Texas Pete, like hot sauces, stuff like that. Or you could go with things that are a little higher and you have to be a little careful. It's just 20 calories for ketchup, guys. It's a tablespoon or 17 grams. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that unless I was like in some kind of a deep cut, which let's be honest, guys, I'm like 50 pounds overweight. I ain't been in a deep cut since the last time I saw my toes probably. But simply put, guys, you're going to be aware of your condiments if you're stalling and things like that, guys. And I wouldn't even say stalling because weight gain on a scale can be really misleading. It's more so like you're stalling on the weight and you're not recompositioning to the best of your knowledge here, right? I mean, obviously not all of us have the money to go get a DEXA scan and stuff like that to know exactly, but we should know the way our clothes are fitting us. We should know the way that our lifts are going in the gym and how we're performing if we're doing like anaerobic exercises. So are we improving with that? Our anaerobic capabilities, things like that, right? So for me, I'm going to use both. I'll tell you right now that I'm going to double up in terms of my head. What I'm doing here, it says 40. I'm going to say this is probably be an extra 50 calories by the time I'm done with it. And I'll say that these two are going to come out to about 850 calories. And this is going to work its way out to about 33, 34 grams of protein per serving. So eating both of these guys, I'm up over 60 grams of protein, almost 70 grams of protein for my morning. So it's one of my favorite meals to make. This is a nice little dupe to Subway. That is my newborn in the background making all that noise. And without further ado, guys, that's all I got for y'all. I hope you guys like this. Try it out. If you're definitely like one of those McMuffin fans, you're going to love this, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.